Welcome everyone to January 6th of Sports Mitch. Today we're going to talk a lot of football, but first I want to talk about the Project Phoenix run coming up here very soon. It's February 8th. Right now, if you sign up at nba.com/sun/phx5k, you can actually go and have a chance to win 4 lower level seats thanks to the CEO, Michelle DeMoria. She's giving away her personal Phoenix Suns tickets for the lower bowl for 4 certain dates. And then even if you don't win those tickets, you can go and choose one of 4 tickets or one of 4 Phoenix Suns events to attend. So it's actually a really good deal that you get there. I believe it's $65. Once again, you get free tickets and you have a chance to win even better tickets. The leading thing, obviously, today is the Patriots dynasty. Is it over or not? I'm not going to get into it. I really want to start with college football, though. Tua Tagovailoa, really hope I said that right, is going to enter the NFL draft. I know Dolphins were taking for Tua. They still have a chance to get them, even though they're about the 6th pick. And thank you. I do think that is a great deal. But yeah, Dolphins have the 6th pick. There's about 5 other quarterbacks. No matter what Tua did, I think it was the right choice. Alabama's rehab facility is next to the best rehab facility in America. But if he goes to the NFL, they're going to kitty glove him, and he's going to get guaranteed money. And I know this was a tough decision for him. I think either decision was the right decision, but I am glad that he has decided to go to the NFL and get that guaranteed money. He's still going to get drafted higher than Lamar Jackson did. He'll still be a first-round quarterback pick. I know it's famously known as the Bo Jackson injury because he threw out his hip, was never able to play again. With today's medicine, he'll eventually be fine. I don't think he plays his rookie year, but he'll be fine. I don't know if he's a really good quarterback. I'm going to be honest. I don't look at scouting reports for quarterbacks. I think there's way too much that goes in there with the mental capacity, with the ability to read defenses. But he wasn't a pro-ready college football offense. Pro-ready college football offense. So it should be a really good pick for whoever picks him up once they get the time to do it. Plus, if you pick him up this year, you might get a really good pick next year for another skill position because he won't be playing once again. Or it'll be good for the Dolphins because you still have Ryan Fitzmagic slinging that ball around. You might get 5 or 6 wins just by having nobody on your team again as Tua recovers. But I'm going to start now. We're going to talk about the NFL playoffs. We had the Bills. We had the Texans face each other. And despite the Bill O'Brien's best attempt to lose, he somehow found a way to win. One of the most interesting stats, which is why I got proved wrong on picking the Bills over the Texans, was their cornerback, Trevathan White, was rated one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. I still think he is one of the greatest cornerbacks in the NFL. But they put DeAndre Hopkins in the slot in the first half, couldn't move it. He was 0 for 2. Somehow he put him up against him, and he was 4 for 4 for 70 yards. I don't know how to explain how that's possible. I watched all the routes multiple times. DeAndre Hopkins is just a receiver that's going to find a way to win, apparently. And thanks to him, they ended up somehow winning that playoff game. And now they're going to move on and face the Chiefs, which, once again, I'm not going to give them any credit. I don't think they're going to win that game. I think Chiefs are too good. They have to go into Arrowhead. It's going to be loud, and Texans probably should have lost because DeAndre Hopkins' weird move that should have been either a safety or a touchdown gave the Bills the ball back, which would have burned more time. It would have been game over at that point. I don't think Bill O'Brien's a smart enough coach to outsmart Andy Reid, and I don't think he has the weapons to beat the Chiefs. Now, the Titans beat the Patriots. That was a great game for me, being a Titans fan. I'm not going to go as far as saying the dynasty's over. I do think Tom Brady leaves. I think Bill Belichick's obviously a good enough coach to cheat his way into the playoffs continually every year. And I know it's going to be a big topic over ESPN for the next 4 months that I'm not going to drill into your guys' head. There's no point for me in doing that because, once again, ESPN and Fox will do it for me. But Vrabel did one of the smartest coaching decisions he could do, and that was do what Bill Belichick does to others because that's how he wins the games. Earlier we saw Clemson beat Alabama. because there was some crazy shifting that went with or there were some crazy substitutions, and then Nick Saban didn't see that the quarterback was actually in the wide receiver slot while the kicker was out there, so then they went and switched spots. Totally confused. Alabama took them out of the playoffs. We saw Bill Belichick use the same thing that Vrabel did to him against the Jets earlier in the game. He was over there smiling, so it made me really laugh when he was spitting fire about what Vrabel did to him. But, I mean, Mike Vrabel did what he had to do. He killed about 2 minutes of clock on a fourth down, and he totally capitalized on a slight overthrow by Tom Brady that popped the ball in the air, and there was the pick six. It was a great game. One of the crazy things is both these games could have ended with a just random bounce anywhere else. And I think next week with Titans going to Baltimore, it's going to be interesting. They're both built the same way. I know Ravens are way more exciting to watch at this point, but they both have an MVP this year caliber quarterback. They both run the ball more than they pass. They both can throw a deep pass. They have Earl Thomas, who I told you guys, I think is the greatest safety in the NFL. Titans have Kenny Vaccaro, who I think is the smartest safety in the NFL. They have Marcus Peters, who is a shutdown corner. Titans have Adoree Jackson, who's a really young cornerback who's learning how to be a shutdown corner. It's going to be a really good game next week, and Ravens are currently, I believe, minus 10.5-point favorites, which I find crazy given how close they are, and the fact that we learned Mike Vrabel is actually a really smart coach. I'll get more into the spreads later, but that'll be a good game. The other games we watched on Sunday was the Saints lost. This is going to be the one I really want to talk about. The Saints lost to Minnesota. Minnesota did so many things different than I thought they would, and it really worked out. Minnesota was not a fan of the jumbo package, which is where you have 2 or 3 tight ends. They didn't do that too much during the regular season, and they just pretty much jumbo packaged the living bejesus out of the Saints. They used Irv Smith Jr., who they drafted number 50, and really didn't get a lot of playing time, but Irv Smith learned how to block. He had a lot of big blocks for those big running games that Alexander Mattison, who was a running back I didn't really know. Alexander Mattison was on fire. And then Dalvin Cook also had 100 yards, so they just pretty much ran the ball and made sure Drew Brees didn't have the ball. The final play of the game came down to that weird push-off, Kyle Rudolph. Obviously, Saints fans are mad. I would probably be mad, too, if I was a Saints fan, just because I had someone to blame at that point. But we have seen that in the NFL for years. Tight ends can push off. I'm not saying it's right. I complained about it when Gronk did it. In every playoff game in the history of Patriots, he always pushed off. He used both hands to push off, and nobody ever cared. Until the rule starts changing on a regular basis for that, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Saints were wronged. It's a rule that nobody calls, and I don't think you should call a rule for one game and one game only to prove a point, because then we would complain, where was that call all year? And then we would say that the refs hate the Vikings, and it would just be flip-flopped. Also, maybe make that field goal at halftime, and you would have been up by 3, wouldn't have gone to overtime, wouldn't have happened. Saints just lose opportunities in the playoffs, and then fans find a way to blame the refs for it. And then the final game was the Seahawks versus Eagles. Poor Eagles. I know they won the Super Bowl a few years ago, so it's really hard to say poor them. They were injured, beat up. People cared, refs don't. Yeah, exactly. Those Eagles were beat up, though. It was absolutely miserable to watch those Eagles play. And then Carson Wentz in the first quarter goes down due to he didn't mean to injure him. It was just a weird hit. There was concussion. You have concussion protocol now. No matter what, he was going to have to leave the game. And then you had 39-year-old Josh McCown, who had never played in a playoff game before, and he had to go in there against the Seattle defense, who is kind of returning back to life a little bit. They got some of their injured players back, but I did predict that the score was going to be the exact same score they did when they were in Philadelphia the first time, and both games were 17-9 somehow. I actually really couldn't believe when I saw the score, even though I predicted that. No, but they were all really good games. They were all one score, and every game could have ended different if there's just one bounce. And that's one thing about football. And I think that's the biggest thing that allows content to be created every week with football is just one bounce. We have 4K TVs now. We can see everything. And then broadcasters have to harp on everything now because that's what fans want them to do. And it gets them better ratings. But one bounce can change a game. And that's not like every other game. NBA, maybe if you look at the final 2 minutes, some refs can kind of change that a little bit. But it's just so bizarre when you watch these. If you look up top 25 catches of all time in the playoffs, somehow it's about half a centimeter off of the ground, or a defender punches the ball out as he comes out. The ball takes a weird bounce. They take it back for a pick six, or they get the touchdown off of it. This is why football is great. Let's be honest. Now, being done with football, there was some NBA news. Suns are still horrible for you Arizona fans. They should have lost by about 18 to Memphis. Suns kind of had a late surge, came back. I don't understand. I feel like the Phoenix Suns are trying to outsmart statistics, which if they want to outsmart statistics, go for it. Try it. I don't care. But what they're doing is they're using Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton to shoot the mid-range shots from, Michael Jordan's time, which statistics say that doesn't work. And if you look at the Phoenix Suns record, it says it doesn't work anymore. But they're going to keep doing it, and then we're going to keep wondering, why are they losing? It's because they decided that they're smarter than statistics, and they're going to continue with their less than 25 wins a season record. The Lakers did do something pretty cool. I don't usually talk about the Lakers. LeBron James and Anthony Davis's Lakers, they actually somehow found a way to block 25% of the attempted shots last night against the Detroit Pistons, which as a Phoenix Suns fan, that makes me completely happy because that just means that that's something that the Suns haven't accomplished. And it's embarrassing, and I'm glad that the Suns have a record that's not embarrassing right now. There was over 20 blocks, which is the first time since the 80s, I believe, over 20 blocks in one game. And Detroit Pistons still somehow lost by only 5 points. This is going to be a really good NBA year with all these great teams. I really hope the Suns can kind of put it together. But I will be back on Wednesday, and I'm going to do Against the Spread again for the playoff run. We're going to have Tennessee and Baltimore. That'll be the late Saturday game. I believe the early Sunday game is San Fran versus Minnesota. And then I don't know what the lineup for the Sunday games are time-wise, but Sunday that would make it Texans-Chiefs. That'll probably be the later game. And then Seahawks versus Green Bay. These should be close games. Again, I'm really excited for them. But until Wednesday, have a great night. Thank you for watching.